Hi, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Jessica, and this is She's on Top.
Today we're sharing with you 5 of the most motivational tips that we've got from some of the women we've interviewed to date.
Initially, when I started out with YouTube, the analogy I gave Dan is I was like, I feel like I am hand climbing up this roller coaster, carrying pounds of weight on me, clawing to get to like 4,000 subscribers. And the key is if you have a story that needs to be heard, if you have a story to tell and you believe that there's an audience who wants to hear it, you can do it. And you don't need to have 1 million subscribers.
That was Elle Lindquist. Elle is a mommy blogger, and she's also got a really successful channel on YouTube. The thing that I love about her quote is the fact that I think Elle's got something like 200,000 subscribers, but she felt the way probably all of us do right now at the beginning. So for me, I'm like, okay, this is normal. This is the way that everybody feels.
Yeah, when we've had those rough days and it's like, you know, we put out a video and we've got like 1 subscriber, we're like, okay, remember Elle's quote, you know, you've got to climb that roller coaster. And I actually think it applies to any business, not just YouTubers, any business at the beginning. It's really hard getting that first customer, getting that first client. And so it's just tough. I think at the beginning it's tough, but you have to know that if you believe in what you're doing, like, you know, Elle said, you have a good story to tell, you have a good business, you will get there. You have to just persevere.
Yeah, and you just have to kind of stay in the moment. To me, focus on what you're doing right now and believe. So this next quote that we're going to share is from Kelly Lovell. Now, Kelly Lovell is a top influencer with millennials and working with youth. She has an incredible story, so if you haven't watched the video, make sure to check it out. But we wanted to share this one quote that she said right off the top.
Confidence is beauty. When you walk in that room, it really doesn't matter the size of your dress, what outfit you're wearing, what you even look like. People feel the confidence, and that's what draws them in, and they're like, oh, who's she?
That quote really meant a lot to me because I know that when I was younger, I struggled with my image. I think a lot of young people do, and I just love the way that she says that confidence is beauty.
Yeah, it's really, really true. And the thing is, we got such a huge reaction to that video because I think it resonated with a lot of women. And it's not really, because sometimes you get caught up in how your hair looks or your age or whatever it is. And the fact that it's like if you're confident in yourself, you're going to look good.
Yeah, I think that was fantastic. I have 2 daughters around Kelly's age. And I remember when we interviewed her thinking, wow, I hope they watch this video. Because I think today with social media, especially with social media, we're so obsessed with how we look. And we have to just be ourselves.
Yeah, I think we really do. I think you're beautiful. She doesn't think I am, but I think she's beautiful.
I think you're beautiful too.
Okay. So our next one
I think you're really beautiful.
Thank you. We think you're beautiful. That's women supporting women. Woo! Woo!
Working for yourself is extraordinarily challenging at times. Quit if you must, but don't quit because it seems like the easy option. If you have to quit because you're completely out of funds or it's not reasonable for you to be in business anymore, it makes sense. But there have been times where I've wanted to quit, and Chad has said to me, because he's my sounding board, we're married, we live together, he said to me, this is a short-sighted thing. You're frustrated, but this isn't the final blow.
That was Melissa Maker. She was our first interview. She was the first person that popped into my head when we started this channel because I actually love her. I think she's quite brilliant and I love her cleaning methods. And I like cleaning and organizing, don't I?
Yes, she does, not me.
So her quote about not quitting because it's the easy option, I think that's so tricky and it's so important because I think everybody feels like they want to quit. And sometimes, I think it's a struggle sometimes trying to figure out if that's actually the right thing to do, because you don't want to continue on with something that's not working. Like, I was thinking that between us doing our first channel and this one.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's hard to know when to quit. There's actually a quote that Joanna Track, also, and we don't have a quote of hers in, but she says a similar thing. She says, you have to know when to quit. And she says you need to take about 2 years. And I think you do. I think it's, you struggle. In the first 2 years, there's a lot of struggles, but you've really got to try and do it. But I guess around the 2-year mark, if you're not making money or it doesn't feel right, that's when you know you need to make a change.
I think that's perfect, and I think that kind of circles back to what she's saying, because she says get some outside advice. So if you're struggling with your business or your channel, I think that's the biggest takeaway, kind of like Tracy just said. You know, either get a business person to come in and assess your business, or if you're doing something that's personal, get the advice of a therapist or somebody who is not a friend or a family member, because I think I have a really hard time taking criticism.
Yeah. So do I. Although we got my boyfriend and my daughter to give us a list of reasons why our business wasn't working.
That was fun.
And that was really fun, but it was actually really good because someone had given us advice and said, you know, look at everything that's not working. And so we asked a few people, and we took their advice, and I think it was really good. I think it's good to listen to people who care from you if you can take the criticism.
Yeah, you just have to make it not personal.
There's really so much advice to give to somebody who's starting a business. A couple of things really I would say is you just got to be really fierce. You've got to have an appetite for risk. If you're risk adverse, you're gonna have a really hard time with this because you're taking chances all the time. Even once you launch, you know, the business grows and then you have to take more chances. And as soon as you get comfortable, you have to get uncomfortable again. I always say just get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because you get used to where your company's at, and then it changes again.
That was Julie Cole, and that is one of my most favorite quotes. It actually felt in a little way like a relief, because I tend to think when I get to this point or when this thing happens, then everything will feel easier. And she kind of basically said it doesn't.
Yeah, it's true. I actually think it's now an analogy for life, because anytime in life you have to get used to being uncomfortable, because you think, when I get this thing I'll be happy, and you realize that life is always changing, and you have to be used to getting like blah blah blah. You have to get used to being uncomfortable.
Just like that moment, Tracy was a little uncomfortable.
I was uncomfortable. I was totally uncomfortable. I shouldn't say I hate. My mother always said, don't use the word hate. So I don't like being on camera that much. So, but it's getting better and better. But yeah, so I'm uncomfortable. So Tracy, get used to being uncomfortable. You are just uncomfortable. Everyone can see you're uncomfortable. And get used to it. Thanks, Julie.
But I'm comfortable that you're uncomfortable.
Yes, because it makes you look good.
So that works out really well. It was funny, I was talking about, I was telling my mom this quote this morning. When I grew up, my mom had a retail store, and she made a great point that, she said, one of the things is, as soon as you grow, then you have to hire more people, and then you're stressed out because you're responsible for all these people's salaries. And I thought that was a good point too. So it's relatable whether you own a business, whether you're a vlogger. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, and then you're good.
Yeah, great quote.
No, you can. I think that's the biggest thing. Women doubt themselves more than men. And not only that, or we have to be reassured and told, or there's so many and, ifs, or buts before you actually do something. No, you can, and do it.
No, you can, and do it. Okay, I love that. That is my favorite quote, and it's actually really funny because we put this together yesterday, and then last night I went out for dinner with a really good friend of mine who I don't see that much. She lives in the States, and she gave me this bracelet. And the bracelet says, she believed she could, so she did. And I just love it. And she told me she thought of me because of the videos we've been doing, and that's why she got the bracelet. So that's my favorite.
You know why I love that quote? Because that is this person. Tracy is the most determined person I know. It makes me laugh. Like, if I ever wanted to get her to do something, I just tell her, you can't, and it would pretty much get done.
It's very true. It's very true.
She is like determined and stubborn in a good way. It's just like, I can do it. I'm doing that. And it's actually one of my favorite things, or one of the reasons I chose, why I was so happy with the business partnership, because I just had confidence that she will figure it out.
I try to figure it out. But yeah, I just love what Kelly says. It's true. I think as women, sometimes we really doubt ourselves, and just know that you can do it, and just go out there and do it. We really hope you enjoyed those quotes as much as we did, and they inspired you too.
And we've put links to the full videos that all those quotes came from below.
As always, please, if you haven't done so already, subscribe and hit on that bell button. That way you'll get notice of all of our videos.
Also, hit like and give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Let us know which of the quotes inspired you and why.
See you next time.